Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Holy cow, it's Friday already. This week just zoomed right by, didn't it?
Every week zooms by.
That means we're getting older. Did you know that?
Yes.
As you get older, everything seems to go faster. Guess who we're going to be talking to today?
Who's that?
Jordan Goodman. America's
I like
Money
Jordan
Answers
Goodman.
Man. I do too. He's a good guy. Always has some great tips. And last time we talked was like right around election time. And he was saying that, you get close to those elections, things get kind of volatile. So I'm looking forward to finding out if things in the stocks and markets and all of that stuff went good or if we're bad. We have no money in the stock market. We have no money, so we don't know. But for those of you who do, he always has some good ideas. Coming up, we'll be chatting with him. About 3.5 million text messages are sent every minute in the United States. 3.5 million every minute. None of those are from me. I hardly ever send text messages.
I text, but definitely not that much.
The Technical University of Denmark found that the smell given off of old carpets in an office can make workers dizzy, nauseous, and cause headaches. So if you have headaches and you're dizzy and you're nauseous, it might be the carpet, or it might be because you're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Let's blame it on the carpet. Coming up, some special stuff for today. We'll tell you all about it in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, December the 9th. Today is Cremation Day.
Ah,
I'm not sure why,
all right.
but it is. It's also International Anti-Corruption Day. Shouldn't that be every day? I mean, is there a pro-corruption day? I don't think so.
Probably.
It is official Lost and Found Day. What is the weirdest thing you've ever lost? Have you ever lost anything that was kind of a weird thing to lose?
I lost my bra one time. I found it in your coat pocket.
Yeah. It's because you had way too much to drink. It's a whole different story there. I lost a speaker one time, from my house.
I remember that was in your trunk.
No, not that. This is a different,
A different time. You lost a speaker.
No, when I was moving one time, the trailer opened up and I lost a bunch of stuff, but I know for sure a speaker. Oh, hey, today is also Weary Willie Day, so I'm not sure what that is. But
I know what that is.
You do? Yeah. That's how that bra ended up in my pocket, apparently. Coming up, we got some more fun stuff to talk about on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is my favorite time of year. The lights, the fun parties, and the family get-togethers. Many of us have boxes of home videos capturing these memories. But sadly, these memories are fading away because the videotape was not the best format. My friend CJ has a business called Tape It Up Reproductions. They transfer your precious memories to a digital format with the option to enhance the audio and the video to make them look and sound better than ever. His website is tapingitup.com, or you can call or text 412-766-1679.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Sometimes you just don't know where to, put your spare change, so you got to get creative, right?
Okay.
This guy was eating it.
Oh.
I don't know why. This is weird. It's officially Lost and Found Day today. They found a lot of weird stuff in this dude's tummy. Doctors had to perform an emergency surgery on a man. He was rushed to a hospital in Thailand because he had terrible pains. They were stunned when they found 4.2 pounds of loose change in his stomach. 37-year-old Sangwan Potswat, and I'm sure I nailed that linguistically, apparently has been swallowing coins for a long time. Doctors say the man will need to stay hospitalized for a while because of side effects of the coins being in his body for such a long time. No word at all on why he was swallowing coins.
I wonder why they didn't digest.
Well, I don't think they can.
I mean, people, they come out the other end, don't they?
I have no idea. I don't know how that works.
Apparently not with this guy.
Yeah, he had 4.2 pounds of loose change. Wonder if he ate it all at once, or if that was like over a course of a long time. Not exactly sure. I remember a friend of mine, and he may be listening, Chris Headland, and he and I are friends on Facebook, so I have to remind him of this. My brother was doing this trick where he'd make a dime disappear. So Chris thought he knew what it was, and he threw it in his mouth and swallowed it. And he was going, like choking on a dime. And it was funny stuff. So back when we were kids, Chris, you made me laugh, swallowing a dime. And this one here, this was way more than a dime. 4.2 pounds of loose change. This dude's been gobbling it up for some reason. He's 37. He should know better, but I don't know. Something going on there in Thailand. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. It didn't exactly take Crockett and Tubbs to bring down this Brazilian drug cartel. Okay, for the kids out there who don't know who that is, what's that? What show was that from?
Miami Vice.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure somebody got my lame joke. Police in Sao Paulo arrested a group of men and searched them after a tip, but didn't find enough marijuana and cocaine to charge them with drug dealing. Luckily for cops, the gang was thoughtful enough to use their cell phones to take photos of themselves with kilos and kilos of cocaine and a whole bunch of marijuana. A spokesperson says, "We're glad that they're such show-offs because they helped us by registering their criminal actions on film." So they had just a tiny bit of drugs that would not have actually probably been enough for them to get charged with anything major. But because they took photos of themselves with a bunch of illegal drugs, that was enough to do them in. So there you go. Once again, showing that people who are, criminals are not necessarily the brightest bulbs on the old Christmas tree. So
Definitely.
there you go. Got your moment of duh coming your way.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. A bureaucrat from India. Government financial problems big time over there in India right now. He took his wife and the livestock development board manager to Australia. They flew there at the financially troubled government's expense to buy a goat. Yeah. The goat, by the way, cost twice in Australia what it would have cost if they would have just bought one in India. Livestock Development Board manager said this was a special goat needed for research, but she could not explain why it was so special. So these guys just basically wanted to go to Australia. And they're like, hey, aren't you the Livestock Development Board manager? You should come with us, and we're going to go to Australia. I have no clue why they were doing that. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Does that make any sense to you?
Not at all.
I'm not a fan of government waste at all. Friend of mine, oh no, it was actually you that bought me the book. Remember that? Government's Biggest
yeah.
Goofs?
Yep.
She thought I would like it because it was, all
And it
this.
just got you
I
angry.
was so mad. I had to give it away. I was like, I have to get rid of this book. I need it out of my hands. It's making me mad. All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Candy canes are being banned at school. You know why?
Why?
It's not the war on Christmas. This is in Australia, and it's because they're banning them because they're not good for you. It's their healthy eating policy says you can't have those at school now. So birthday cake is
It's not
also
like they
banned.
were serving them in the lunchroom.
No, but
what?
there
what
were
are they
teachers
worried
giving
about?
them as treats. So there were teachers saying,
good
"Oh, here,
Lord.
Merry Christmas, have a candy cane." No more candy canes, no more birthday cake. That's what they're doing right now in Australia. So there you go. Boy, kids got it rough these days.
Jeez.
A study shows that if you eat slowly, you will eat less, and you'll enjoy the meal more. Women consume about 70 fewer calories when they are told to take their time eating a meal of pasta and sauce compared to when they're instructed to eat it quickly. They also rated the meal as more pleasant when they ate at a slower rate as well. Would you say that's true?
I would definitely say that's
When
true.
you eat at a slower rate, you tend to enjoy the meal better? I eat so darn fast because I used to work at a grocery store and we'd get like a 15-minute break. So I'd have to cook it, eat it, and clean up all in 15 minutes. So I can eat pretty darn quick. We sit down to eat. I'm done. Everybody else is just getting ready to start. I'm like, oh, it was really good. You going to eat all that? Hey, have you ever had a Nikon camera? What are you laughing about? What?
Nothing. keep my comments to
I
myself.
appreciate that. Have you ever had a Nikon camera?
I have had a Nikon. I'm not a fan.
You're not? You have a Canon camera. That was like your...
I'm switched back to Canon, yeah.
Well, I've had some Nikon cameras, and I've actually really liked the ones that I've had. And Nikon, kids, by the way, a camera is a thing that you used to own before you had everything on your phone. Yeah. Ask mom and dad. Ask grandma and grandpa. Somebody will know. But the oldest surviving Nikon camera is also the most expensive. It recently sold at auction. How much do you suppose this 1948 camera could have cost?
No clue.
$409,000.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
April of that year. It was the third camera made, but the first two were Gonski. They don't know where they are. Camera was from a collector of a famous Japanese camera collector. Young cancer patient wanted to blow some stuff up and got to do it. Did you hear about this? This is like a week ago, I think.
I
is
think
when
you
this
told me
happened.
about it, yeah.
I saw it online. I finally found a story here, and I wanted to share it here. This is a federal authorities in Australia, that's their federal police, joined forces with Make-A-Wish Foundation to grant an unusual request from a 12-year-old cancer patient. He wanted to, quote, blow stuff up. The 12-year-old, who is in remission from leukemia, got to detonate explosive charges in training exercises. So that's really cool. Then he was
That's
like,
very
"No,
cool."
but I wanted to blow my school up." So no, he didn't really say that. Was me being silly. So that's really cool that he got to do that. I think I want to blow stuff up.
By the way, Make-A-Wish Foundation, one of my all-time favorites.
Mine too. Thank you,
charities.
guys.
Love
Thank you for doing what you do. And by the way, if there are any kids that have a wish that they wanted to meet John and Heidi, no, none, and I wanted to take them to Hawaii with me. I'm just saying, if you did. You should call.
Good times.
Notice the phone's not ringing. Hey, a man threatens his ex with a weaponized wiener. Did you hear about this? This happened in China. This is the dumbest story I've ever heard. Police in China detained a man for threatening to kill his ex-girlfriend and her family when he dressed as a suicide bomber, but he strapped himself with sausages.
What?
The suspect threatened to blow himself up along with the entire family outside of their home unless his girlfriend came out to talk. But instead of strapping himself with dynamite, he had a whole bunch of sausages. You better send her out here. I'm going to put myself in the microwave on high for like 8 minutes. And we're all going to blow up. I have no clue what his plan was. Whatever it was.
I don't know either.
It didn't work. And then that's going to probably do it. We've got more fun stories, but we'll save some for another day. And we've got a great guest coming up, Jordan Goodman. He's America's Money Answers Man. We'll be chatting with him in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. We've got a special guest joining us right now. We have America's Money Answers Man, Jordan Goodman. We connect with him about once a month, and we've got him on the line right now. Jordan, how are you, sir?
Great to be with you, and happy holidays, John.
Well, we're excited to have you on the program. When last we spoke, the election had not yet happened, so now the election is over and done with. And I know when we were talking before, you were saying we get close to those elections every 4 years. The market gets kind of interesting, and financial things. There's a lot of questions now. Since the election, it's been about a month now. We've had some interesting things happening in the financial world, haven't we?
Dramatic change here, John. Yeah, since the election, the stock market has taken off like a rocket to all-time record highs. Interest rates have risen sharply, with the 10-year Treasury, which had been about 1.5, is now up to about 2.4, probably going to go higher as well. And that's brought up mortgage rates with it also. We've got big changes coming in tax policy, big changes coming in the healthcare area, big changes coming in trade. So it's just an awful lot of things. People voted for change, John. They're about to get an awful lot of change.
Now, when you look at this from your perspective, would you say financially this is typically good for most people or typically bad for most people?
There will be winners and losers, but I think overall it's going to be good for most people. If we get tax rates down, they're talking about cutting the corporate rate from 35% to 15%, which will put a lot more money in companies' pockets to invest or raise dividends or improve their situation. Individuals, we're talking about collapsing the current 7 tax rates down to 3. And again, putting more money in people's pockets. Probably the 3 tax brackets would be 33%, 28%, and 12%. Let's see, but something like that. Again, putting more money into people's pockets. And what they can do with it, John, is they can spend it or they can invest it, which are both good things. So
Yeah,
it's a dramatic change from where we had before, where they were, tax rates had gone up, and Hillary Clinton clearly said she wanted taxes to go up as well.
So the thing that's nice, if people have more money in their pocket, they get to decide what they want to do with that. And when it comes to businesses may choose to hire more people, which would mean that, that creates jobs and gives money to another family. So that's a good thing, too.
That's right. And so it's very interesting because this is in a certain way like a Reagan moment in 1980. But the difference is that Reagan came in with a very bad economy. Trump is coming in with a pretty good economy. I mean, we just had the unemployment rate go down from 4.9 to 4.6%. We've had new jobs created for many months ago. I think it's a total of about 16 million new jobs created in the last 8 years or something like that. The economy is growing at about 2 or 3%. The stock market hitting all-time highs. Interest rates are low. It can go up a little bit. Remember, when Reagan came in, interest rates were extremely high, and they went even higher before they came down. So Trump's got a lot more tailwinds behind them in making all these big changes.
So for a person listening that maybe right now is trying to decide, okay, I've got some money squirreled away, are there specific things that you're suggesting people do with that at this point?
Sure. So a lot of people are very conservative and want to earn income off of their money instead of just have it sit in the bank earning zero, which is what will happen. I'll tell you something I've been doing with my money. I'm doing what are called commercial real estate income funds. And there's a website for that, commercialrealestateincomefunds.com. They pay you an 8% yield over a 1-year time frame. You get monthly checks. If you want, you can reinvest it or you can take the money on a monthly basis. The minimum is $5,000, which is a lot lower than most of these things typically are. And they're lending money to commercial real estate projects that use it to improve and renovate themselves. And then when the building that they've renovated is sold, you, the shareholder, actually get a piece of the profits as well. So it's an 8% plus another 1 or 2% profit sharing on top of that, with no commissions or fees at all. So there's a place to put your money to earn 8% in a world where if you keep it in the bank, you're pretty much going to get zero. Again, the website, if that helps any of your folks, is commercialrealestateincomefunds.com.
All right. And as always, I take good notes, so if you miss any of the stuff that we're talking about, I'll be sure to share this on our Facebook page as well. So that's a good place to go. And I like that it's only a $5,000 minimum, because I know we've talked about some in the past where it was 10 times that, a $50,000 minimum. So that's really cool that there's one now for people that maybe don't have quite as much but still want to earn some interest.
That's correct. Yeah. So if you buy individual bridge loans, it is typically $50,000. But if you get a fund that might have 30 or 40 in there, then it spreads the risk and it allows the minimum to go down dramatically to about $5,000. That's correct. I just hear from a lot of people, John, that got money, but they're worried about the stock market. Bond yields are low and rising, which means you're going to lose money. So what am I supposed to do with my money to earn something safely in these days? So there's a suggestion a lot of people might not have heard about before.
Well, and if people have direct questions for you, they can certainly reach out to you. What is your website, Jordan?
Moneyanswers.com. I get emails from you folks all the time and glad to help them. Lots of links and videos and all kinds of things to help them in all areas of personal finance at moneyanswers.com. And always glad to get emails from you folks as well.
Well, we absolutely appreciate the fact that you pick up the phone and connect with us once a month because, especially, think about the last 3 or 4 times we've talked. It's been something different each time. We were talking about, paying off student loans. We were talking about, making sure you have the right credit card. Now, today we're talking about, if you've got some funds and you want to, put it in something that I'd never even heard of before, these real estate income funds. It's such a diverse amount of information. So, folks, if you're looking for maybe an answer that you don't have, you got to talk to Jordan. He is the like his title, America's Money Answers Man. He's the guy that's got the answers. So, Jordan, thank you again, sir.
Thanks so much, John. Appreciate it.
And again, Jordan Goodman, his website is moneyanswers.com. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
When is the last time you changed the air filter on your furnace? Now, don't be embarrassed. That happens to a bunch of us. The furnace filter should be changed often. This will help your heating and cooling system run more efficiently, and it'll even extend the life of your system. Now, there's an easy way to make it happen. Filter Easy, a new subscription service that delivers your size filter right to your door on the schedule you choose. It's easy. Filter Easy. One less thing to worry about. Learn about a special offer available now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Stuffed eggs are called deviled eggs because they originally were so spicy hot they reminded you of the fire from hell. Did you know that?
Well, then.
Back in the day, they were covered in hot pepper, and one bite was enough to bring most people to tears.
I thought it was because of the nasty farts they created.
Thank you, Heidi. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Instead of wedding rings, Amish men use facial hair to show if they are married or not.
That's so sexy.
Yeah, so Amish men grow a beard to show that they are married, and if they're not married, they shave. So if you
they
see,
just have stubble, they're engaged.
yeah, apparently, that's a good point. I don't know. So you're married, huh? No, I just lost my razor. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Playing video games can burn as many calories as a brisk walk or cycling.
I don't think so.
Depends on what video games you're playing. Okay, one final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
While Timothy McVeigh was in prison, he received 4 marriage proposals from women. What? Why would you want... I don't understand that. I just don't get it. That makes no sense to me. If that's
he's
your
the
thing,
bomb.
Oh, boy. If that's your thing, I guess that's your thing. And I don't want to make fun of you, but I just don't... I don't get that at all.
I'll make fun of you.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to radiolottopool.com and join today. Again, that website is radiolottopool.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Sometimes people say, oh, feels like an eternity. Have you ever heard anybody say, this is going to last for an eternity? Have you ever heard eternity?
I've heard this is going to take forever.
How long is forever? How long is eternity? Well, they say time is relative, and boy, are they right. Time seems to come to a standstill in some situations. So I've got a list here of things. This is from the internet, so you know it's good. Keeping a smile on your face until the flash goes off. Remember when you're doing your school photos? It's even worse when it's a group photo because you got to wait for everybody. Smile. Okay, take the picture. Take it. Take the picture. I've got photos from we were kids where my favorite picture is one where none of us, I think my sister Julie was looking at the camera and smiling. The rest of us were all looking in a different direction. It's like the ADD family picture. One of my favorites. Next one, waiting for a tow truck to show up. That is an eternity. So if you're wondering how long an eternity is, the amount of time you wait. Now, I've had tow trucks that show up right away, and that's really good. Awaiting the results of a pregnancy test. I've never had that, but have you ever had that?
Well,
Did you ever do a pregnancy test?
yeah, I did.
Did
but
it
I
seem
wasn't like, I mean, it's like a minute, so it's not that
That's an eternity.
I guess if you're nervous about the response, it would take a
according
long
to
time.
the internet, that takes an eternity. What else do people think takes an eternity? The second hour of the game Monopoly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you ain't got no hotels. You're done pretty quick. The day before a vacation seems to last forever. Doesn't it? And I've noticed that too.
Not for me, because we're usually running behind, and then that day goes by super fast, and we're not even packed yet. And then the
Like,
next day, we're trying to
time to
grab
go.
stuff to run out the door. So
I remember one time we went to, in the wintertime, went to Vegas. We didn't bring coats, thinking we didn't need them. We were there and it snowed.
we're like, it's Vegas. It was freezing.
You should have packed a little better. Christmas Eve, they say, takes an eternity. If you're a kid, you're like, come on, I just want to wake up and open my
Yeah,
stuff.
when you're a kid, that does take forever.
The wait after your wife says, I'll be ready in a minute, that's an eternity, however long that takes.
And in our house, that's the other way around. The wait for me, when you say, I'll be ready in a minute. When I say I'm ready, I'm always ready. And then I'm just waiting for you.
Come out to the car. One time she had a fake skeleton sitting in the passenger seat. She didn't really, but I would see her do that. There you go. All of those things are things that people on the internet say take an eternity.
John and Heidi.
This is my favorite time of year. The lights, the fun parties, and the family get-togethers. Many of us have boxes of home videos capturing these memories. But sadly, these memories are fading away because the videotape was not the best format. My friend CJ has a business called Tape It Up Reproductions. They transfer your precious memories to a digital format with the option to enhance the audio and the video to make them look and sound better than ever. His website is tapingitup.com, or you can call or text 412-766-1679.
John and Heidi.
If at first you don't succeed, well, try again, maybe. After 2 unsuccessful albums from Chris Wintle, he decided, maybe I'm taking the wrong approach. He came to the conclusion that his piano playing needed to get worse, not better. He hoped to become...
Could be that his name is Chris Wintle.
Well, he wanted to... Listen to this. He was hoping to become a success with CDs of out-of-tune Christmas carols featuring him hammering out awful notes on the piano. I think that would be a funny white elephant gift, if nothing else. His record company bosses believe the tracks on Walking in a Wintle Wonderland...
Oh, my goodness. That sounds like something you would do.
They think they're so awful they could go on to be a huge seller in the novelty market. Record producer Bob King says it's absolute garbage, and that is a high compliment. He says the skill in playing as badly as this, there's skill in playing as badly as this, and Chris has done a top job.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to be a big star.
This is
you don't think that's a good idea?
everything that is wrong with this country.
What?
It's just ridiculous.
I'm going to have to Google it and see if I can find it now. Walking in a Wintle Wonderland. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
When I say the name Andy Taylor, does that make you think of somebody?
Yeah.
Who does that make you think of?
It makes me think of Andy Griffith.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Wasn't that his name, Sheriff Andy Taylor?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, well, there's a guy, Andy Taylor, not the sheriff though. This guy works at a bakery, but he won't be going back for 2 weeks after he dislocated his shoulder.
Yikes.
Nothing odd about that except for the fact that he dislocated the shoulder while yawning.
Was he stretching?
He pulled his right arm out of socket while he was stretching in the break room and yawning. His coworkers originally thought he was just goofing around. He spent 20 minutes doubled over in pain, and an ambulance finally had to come and take him to the hospital. So
Poor guy.
that's one heck of a yawn you have there, Andy Taylor. That's crazy. I hope he gets better. That doesn't sound like fun at all. Coming up here in a bit, we've got some good news. That is on the way. I also have a couple of different things talking. I got 2 different stories. One is about getting along with your coworkers, and the other one's about high blood pressure, and they kind of tie together. It's all on the way.
John and Heidi.
This time of year, we celebrate with family and friends.
And sometimes that involves drinking.
If you're going to be celebrating, please have a designated driver.
I lost my cousins to a drunk driver. They were only 8 and 12 years old.
Their lives were cut short because the driver was drunk and made a terrible choice.
Make good choices. Have a designated driver.
If you or a loved one has a problem with drugs or alcohol, now may be a great time for the gift of sobriety.
You can call Keystone Treatment Center at 844-204-1055.
That's toll-free, 844-204-1055.
John and Heidi.
We've got a couple stories here that I think kind of go together, Heidi. Getting along with your coworkers dramatically boosts your lifespan. That's good news.
I could see that.
A 20-year study concluded that workers who do not get along with their fellow employees on the job have a 140% greater chance of dying over the next 2 decades than people who have a lot of social support. The study underlines the importance of having friends and a good social life, and it really impacts your health in a good way. Since so much time is spent on the job, having a supportive social network at the office is key to better health, according to a study from Dr. Sharon Toker from Israel's Tel Aviv University. She says, we spend most of our waking hours at work, and we don't have much time to meet friends during the weekdays. Work should be a place where people get the necessary emotional support. I agree with that.
I agree with
I
that.
think that's all good. So now that story ties into this story, I think. Do you think? You
I don't
yet?
know. I don't know what the story is.
All right. If you're an adult who's at risk of developing high blood pressure, here's an easy and fast way to nix that. Take a 10-minute walk. So they're saying it's good to get along with your coworkers, and I'm saying if you have high blood pressure, you're supposed to take a 10-minute walk.
What does it have to do with your coworkers?
Take a walk with your coworkers. See? Turns out that 4 10-minute walks spaced an hour apart are far more effective at keeping your blood pressure lower throughout the day than a continuous 40-minute walk on a treadmill. This comes from Indiana University in Bloomington. Reuters Health reports that these short bursts of activity help keep blood pressure low for 3 or 4 hours longer than more time-consuming all-at-once workout. So 10-minute walks, this could be a thing that you do on your break. So if you're at work and you're going, hey, we got a little 10 or 15-minute break, convince everybody, hey, let's go for a little walk. You know, you can grab your coffee, but let's just go walk around the block, or let's walk around the office if you don't want to go outside. I think that's a really cool idea. Apparently you don't.
I'm just wondering who gets 10 or 15-minute breaks.
All right. And now, coming up here in a bit, we've got some good news that's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is pretty cool. This is actually shared on our Facebook page, and I'll tell you how you can share some good news there as well. But thank you to Mary for this one. It says, I just ran out of gas coming out of my job, and the light changed, and my car stopped. I got out and started pushing my car, but nobody stopped to help me. Trucks were passing by. People had the nerve to honk their horn as they were seeing me pushing my car. I don't know where they came from, but all of a sudden, almost a full platoon of army men were pushing my car. Aww. Literal army men. And it says here that they pushed them up to a gas station. And this was the thing that was really cool. When they got there, I asked, can I please take your picture and let people know that there are still young men in the world that'll stop and offer assistance to a woman in need? And they said, yeah, that's fine. So there's a photo here of these young men. And then this is the really cool part, Heidi. There was a truck, a man that saw this happen, and he got out of the truck and came over and pulled out a $100 bill and said, here, I want to give this to you guys. Go out and have a meal. And they said, no, sir, we cannot accept that. We're doing what we were raised to do. The gentleman then turned around and handed this to the lady. And he said, well, here, that'll get you some gas. So how cool is that? And she said, can I snap your photo too? So there's a picture of him as well. So you see his smiling face and these soldiers. And that's the thing I just wanted to say. You don't have to wait till the holidays to do something nice. You can do that anytime. So I don't know how old this story is. It was posted originally on December 3rd, and it was shared with me. But it could have been from whenever. Who knows? I don't know how long ago it was. But if you'd like to see the photos and you'd like to read the story without my stumbling and mumbling all the way through there, Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. You can also share your good news there as well. Heidi has good news once in a while, and she says, hey, you should post this. And I'm like, can you share it with me? And she never does it the right way. And then she'll say, why don't you ever use my stories? I'm like, because you know the rules, Heidi. Send me a message, and I'll use yours too. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.